So to no one's surprise, it turns out that Vegapunk lied to us last chapter. And this chapter, although we get more questions than we do answers, there are still a lot of things that have been stated and implied that we can look into and speculate as to the future of this arc and everything it will hold, especially concerning Vegapunk and all the secrets and revelations that we would like from this character. Now, obviously, you have to be, caught up as of when this video is being posted. Now, one of the biggest things we got in this chapter on Vegapunk was the idea that Vegapunk splits themselves into these multiple different beings, these multiple different satellites that then help them when Vegapunk is very busy. And, it's something that I touched upon, but I didn't actually quite get to this conclusion in this video, which was, about Vegapunk's reveal. So go watch that video if you haven't. It has many different ideas about the future of this arc and, just Vegapunk in general. But the idea, in this chapter was a bit more explained as to the fact that Vegapunk, has these different bodies, that there are 6 of them, there's a specific number, and each of them has some kind of name and characteristic that defines who they are. And, while this is very interesting, I think, it comes back to what I was talking about in last chapter, because when Vegapunk had the whole shark incident and talking about creating life and the shark was not listening to what Vegapunk wanted, I asked this question of why Vegapunk would want a shark like that in the first place. Why not just create a straight robot that does what you want, or or just hire the Marines as people? Right? Why does Vegapunk want this in between? And maybe that has to do with Vegapunk's relationship with people, which is what we see quite a bit hinted at in this chapter. That Vegapunk's relation with people is not that good. Vegapunk doesn't, a lot of engineers and scientists in the world aren't up to Vegapunk's standard. And so the only person who can help Vegapunk is Vegapunk, which is why later in that video, I, suggested the idea that these may be clones of Vegapunk, and we will see multiple different clones that work together. So Vegapunk is the only one who can work with Vegapunk. Now, while this may not be clones exactly, we'll find out exactly the true nature of these satellites, but while they may not be clones exactly, they are different versions of Vegapunk, essentially kind of like clones. Vegapunk has cloned themselves, or rather split themselves into different beings, and that is why, we have the different types of Vegapunks that we do. Now, speaking of splitting themselves into different, personalities, this is something that's very reminiscent of Big Mom, which is why if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, you can see the clear connections that I've made with Big Mom. And, Big Mom's fruits, especially with her main homies, of actually taking a part of her soul and putting them into, a sword, a cloud, a flame, and making these 3 core homies, Napoleon, Zeus, and Prometheus, that follow her around, actually now Hera, that follow her around and, do her bidding. And so it seems that we're getting a similar idea here, right? That Vegapunk has split themselves into multiple different personalities. Again, the idea of Vegapunk kind of emulating devil fruits, I think, I should make a video on that. That would be very interesting. Like, just go through, I guess once this arc's over, to just go through a lot of things that Vegapunk has done and kind of just break apart how that could be, emulated as a devil fruit or like is a copy of a devil fruit that exists. But anyway, Vegapunk has these different personalities, and it's unclear whether it works just like Big Mom, in which Big Mom still has a main body and has some of her soul split up into the different bodies, or whether, for Vegapunk it might be that they split their entire being amongst the 6 different bodies. So there is no main body anymore while the 6 still exist. But they could come together, a bit like Power Rangers, to create the real stellar Vegapunk. But what is clear, at least for now, is that the different parts of Vegapunk represent different, aspects of Vegapunk's personality and beliefs. Just like Big Mom had Prometheus, which represented her wrath, and before she replaced Zeus, Zeus was more of her gluttony and self-centeredness. Vegapunk has different aspects. So far we've only seen really 3 of them. We've seen Justice, which is clearly based off of Sora from the comics of the Drummer 66 versus Sora the hero. We've seen that version of Vegapunk. Well, kind of seen that version of Vegapunk. We've seen Lilith, who a lot of people I've seen, compared to Sora, Sanji's mother. And so, it's funny that number 1 is the Sora from the comic books, and number 2 is based off of Sora, the actual person. And it makes sense that Sora is evil because Sora, Sanji's mom, is associated with Drummer 66, which is the evil kingdom. So Sora being evil, or the Vegapunk base of Sora is the evil one. That kind of makes sense. And then we've seen number 5 or 6, unclear for now, which is Atlas. Atlas is the wrath of Vegapunk. Although Atlas seems quite like a nice person, just with like some random outbursts, right? Like a very big chopper. That's the feeling I get. But anyway, like there's these different aspects of Vegapunk which have been split across the different satellites that Vegapunk has. You know, the true nature of the satellites is a bit unclear. I'd like to think that they're not just robots the same way, you know, anyone else could make robots in the One Piece world. I like to think that they're a bit more complex than that. They're not quite clones, they're not quite robots, they're not quite pacifista, they are something else. But moving on, I'd like to come down to more of this comparison with Big Mom, because the comparison with Big Mom is not as simple as just saying that, you know, me trying to make some comparison with Big Mom, but because the whole arc with Egghead Island and the Marines and world government is shaping up to be a lot, you know, in major ways inspired by the Whole Cake Island arc. So obviously we do have the splitting of souls, you know, or personality types, just like Big Mom did in that arc. We do have an Emperor of the Sea in this arc. This time it is Luffy and his crew. And then we have stuff like CP0, Stassi's back. We do have stuff like a Supernova joining them. Last time it was Capone and this time it's Bonnie. Tangent, by the way, I think it's now clear that it makes sense that what happened at Reverie is that Bonnie is the daughter of Kuma, who is the son of Connie. So Bonnie actually just made herself older and made herself resemble more of her grandmother is what I think. That's what's going on there. And then that's why they thought that she was Connie when it was really Bonnie. And the naming scheme of the two makes sense. Bonnie is related to Connie. Yeah. Anyway. We do have a Supernova in this case who has their own agenda in regards to everything going on the island and everything that's going on with the characters there as well. And then actually, in a sense, with this whole deal with Kuma, we also kind of do have a warlord here as well, or rather a former warlord, if you'd like. And then finally, we also have a similar thing with the fact that we have a very smart scientist, but not just a very smart scientist, because we did have two. We had both Caesar and Judge in Whole Cake Island. Here we have just Vegapunk, but the idea of Vegapunk and everything with their relation with Judge. Because as much as, you know, we have the Mads and we expected to see, well, at least I expected to see a lot of similarities between Vegapunk and the Mads group, you know, so maybe see some stuff that relates to their time working with Queen, Caesar, Judge. It seems that there's a lot inspired from working with Judge, right? From the clones to the way stuff is numbered to, you know, the kind of the build-up, right? There's a lot of Frankie and Judge that I'm seeing right now. So I see a lot of similarities there, and overall we're getting a lot of like the minor points in Whole Cake Island, which were not stressed as much, because in Whole Cake Island we focus a lot on Big Mom as a character, focus a lot on Totland, but we didn't get much focus on CP0, although they alluded, and now CP0 in this arc is shaping up to be a major part of it. We got some stuff on science and Germa, and now we're going to probably get more stuff on science, Germa, and that power in the One Piece world in this arc. So I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I'm so ready for like this whole everything to go down, guys. But I am serious about, you know, the whole idea of a video with the devil fruits and Vegapunk's expertise in science emulating that. And I also have a video idea coming up about Kuma. So watch out for that. So yeah, guys, this is the video. I mean, I still do want to hold out hope that Vegapunk is an old woman instead of an old man, because that would still be interesting, right? It's I don't know. I just think it will be an interesting twist if Vegapunk is an old woman instead. It also makes me think. It makes me think of Kureha from Drum Island. But yeah, that's it from this video. Please like if you like, subscribe for more content like this. If you know someone who's the truth, please share this video with them. If you have time, watch my other videos of Vegapunk and other topics in One Piece. Got all that on this channel. As always, guys, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.